what's the perspective I'm supposed to have now, right? And then you work on trying to translate it. And sometimes what that means, I think, even if you don't feel it, you got to do it. So you do things that are, you remember before Rosh Hashanah, we made a kiddush to celebrate the overcoming of the challenge, which didn't happen, of course.
Correct. Until
later. You are listening to the JP Show,
where we discuss the issues you care about from a Jewish perspective.
I am Rabbi G.
And I am Rabbi Levi.
And we hope you enjoy this episode. All right, after a long break, welcome back everyone to another JP Show. I've been away, it's been Pesach. We haven't been here for a while, but it's great to be back. Wherever you're listening, please subscribe or leave a review. And I'm a little bit jet lagged today. I just got back from overseas last night, which is why I have a coffee, so I hope you don't mind. I have to give a big thank you to Rabbi Levi for holding the fort.
Yeah, it's good job.
And I got amazing feedback, and everything is going well. Even better, as we'll soon talk about. So how was your Pesach?
And Pesach was actually the first time we made Pesach, in terms of actually making the Pesach.
That's almost the first time we didn't make Pesach, actually.
That's right.
I shouldn't say it's not the first time, but...
And it was an experience. It's a lot of hard work, but I must say it's very rewarding. When you do it yourself, there's something
special, right?
Something very special about the Yom Tov. When you sit down to the Seder, you just spent 2 weeks non-stop cleaning, cooking,
paying.
That's correct. Yeah, it's not cheap, that's for sure. It's not a cheap exercise. You were in America for Pesach with family. You took quite a long journey back. You went through from New York to Abu Dhabi, and then Abu Dhabi to here.
Yeah.
To Melbourne, and then Melbourne to Sydney.
Yeah, took a bit of a risk actually, because things are flaring up in the Middle East again. So I was a bit worried that my flight wouldn't come, but we did.
And the reason why you did that is because there's a whole
halachic... quite a long... We're not going to get into it completely now, but there is a bit of a halachic issue about during the Omer, when we count each night to Omer to go through the date line, and then you miss a day, and then it affects your Shavuot observance, and it's a whole story. So I try to avoid it. So I came back the long way. Took me like 3 days to get here. Although I got to tell you, Abu Dhabi is a very beautiful airport, and it's a great airline. Just a bit long. Although, there's a concept, just a funny thought. There's a concept of when we finish a festival, particularly Pesach, actually, it says that it shouldn't just finish with the festival, it's got to continue on, right? But the inspiration has to continue, and the Pesach and the idea of personal freedom has to continue. We're always going out of our own personal Egypt and so on. Well, that was made very clear to me on the plane coming back, because the kosher meals were Pesach meals, including matzah.
Really?
Yeah, which I didn't need, because I like matzah, but 8 days was enough for a while. I like to take a little break after Pesach.
That's right. How was the rest of the meal?
Yeah, it was good. It was all right. I don't know, it was some hechsher from America, which I recognized the hechsher, and also the other one was from Amsterdam, Bethlehem or something. But it looked okay, but it was just the idea of having matzah, and that didn't work.
Didn't work, yeah.
Not on the plane anyway. But it reminded me of that idea of continuing on the Pesach. The Pesach has to continue.
Yeah.
I think it's meant more in a spiritual ways. We're allowed to eat other things, but...
Yeah.
And so now we're back, and...
Full force.
I have to say my Pesach was a very special experience, very different. So we didn't make Pesach this year. We just locked up a house and sold all chametz to a non-Jew. But we had to still cook. I mean, not me. I mean, my wife had to cook. I don't cook very well.
You peeled.
I peeled. I helped out. This, that, and the other. Took out some of the kids when everyone else was cooking before Pesach, the grandkids. But it was very different. Very different. I was just doing my own thing and davened in shuls where hardly anyone knew me, and
which is exactly how you like it.
Which was I like it. I love the people.
No. Of course. It's just once in a while. It's good to get away.
It's just nice. It's been a very intense number of months, and we never got a break during December, as we all know, and which is actually nice. And over there it's very interesting. Just share with people, like it's fascinating there with Pesach. You go to stores there, and just the amount of Pesach stuff that's there, and everything's available. Like everyone has different levels, and I come from a background in Chabad, we have a pretty strict Pesach, and I like to cover a lot and cover the sinks. Even over there, you get everything. All the plastics is all made for you. It's beautiful, and like this is cardboard corrugated plastic, and it's like all so easy. And then they have these sink inserts.
Oh, really?
Where they plugs all made for you. Like they're tubs, but they're made to fit a sink.
Okay.
It's like incredible. And just the amount of stuff is available. You go to this one store in Crown Heights called Empire Kosher. You've got special counters before Pesach. Special counters which are covered,
Really?
which you're not allowed to bring non-Pesach stuff there. If you buy non-Pesach stuff, you have to go to non-Pesach tills. But this is like a special lane for if you only buy Pesach stuff, so it doesn't come into contact with
It's great.
with the other stuff. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. Family bonding. It was nice.
Beautiful.
And now we've got to take it all in and make it work.
That's right. So very exciting times at BINA, which we're not going to go through all the details now and all the background and history behind this, but I'm sure many of you know that we had a particular challenge with a neighbor upstairs, who shall remain nameless. It definitely impacted a lot of our operations and what we were able to do and how we were able to do them.
It was exacerbated over a year. I think last year has been just very challenging.
Yeah. And the neighbor has now moved out, and
BINA is been able to use some of that space and just really expand.
Yeah.
But I think it's also interesting just to reflect, now that we're out of it, thank God.
Yeah.
Because it was parts of the year that were very, very challenging and very tense. And looking back, I think we learned a lot. I'm not sure we always handled it correctly.
We're human beings.
We're human beings.
It was definitely a practice what you preach type of year in the sense.
You're learning about bitachon and trusting that things are going to turn out. Yeah. Staying calm, letting Hashem run the world, remembering you don't control anything. And Hashem gives us tests sometimes, we just have to ride them through. But we also have a concept of Yeridat Tzorach Aliyah, which means when you go through a challenge, the outcome has to be even stronger. It's not like the challenge happened, now we're back to before. We can't go back to before. And that's, I think, is true with everything.
Yeah.
Communal challenges, individual challenges, we don't go back to before. We become better and stronger, right? That's how we need to do it, right? So I think now, someone said to me, I was talking to someone the other day, we thank God, the challenge is now over. So someone said, I don't know exactly what they meant, but they're right. I'm not sure what they meant, but they're right. And he said to me, now the hard work begins. And I think it's true. Hashem gave us a gift, He took away the challenge, and now the hard work begins. But it's good hard work, different.
Correct.
It's exciting hard work. So we have to really, with everyone's help, and we're gonna, if anyone thinks that we've been nagging them over the last year, to come to stuff and to be involved and to engage, it's only going to get worse. Better, I should say.
Better, much better.
Yeah,
that's right. So let's talk about a little. We don't have to get into the details of the challenge. That's not relevant. But how did you deal with the challenge, and how do you think we got through it? Because it was actually quite a severe challenge. I don't want to minimize it. It was, I mean, there's different challenges in life. Thank God our families are healthy, and then the baseline level, everything was great. But this was professionally, and then what we're trying to do was a severe
very
challenge
because people, made people feel uncomfortable, and it was just not good. I think, I think what we try to do, looking back, is the following. We always, and this is, I think, how everything in Judaism has to work, or in life really. You first have to develop in your mind what the right perspective is. And then there's the challenge or the opportunity really is to then have what's in your mind translate into your heart, into how you feel about it, right? Mm. And that's okay. Like we're human beings. So sometimes we just have to really believe in what we think. So when we learn that everything is Bashkacha Prati, but divine providence, when you learn that things are going to be okay, when you have a munah, it's okay just to really learn about them and to think about them and to share with others, even if you're not quite there, right?
Yeah.
So, we're not going to lie and say that we were
upbeat and
calm and just knew it was all going to turn out, which we should have been, but we weren't because we're human beings. And there were times that were just very tough. I mean, I think there were times we did rise to that occasion a little bit.
Yeah.
interestingly enough, when we did, I think things turned around a bit, always.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing lesson and power of real bitachon, of real trust in Hashem. But that's the process. You really have to start with your mind. That's what Judaism teaches us. You have to, it's not only what's in your mind, it's really a deep faith that we all have. But how you get it out is you process it through your mind first, right?
Yeah.
You know, what's our perspective? What am I supposed to be believing now? What's the perspective I'm supposed to have now?
Yeah.
Right? And then you work on trying to translate it. And sometimes what that means, I think, even if you don't feel it, you got to do it. So you do things that are, you remember before Rosh Hashanah, we made a kiddush to celebrate the overcoming of the challenge, which didn't happen, of course.
Correct. Until
later. But it was uplifting because we saying, okay, we really believe it's going to happen. It's a new year. It's going to be good, and we're just celebrating it now in advance, in anticipation.
I think a particular, something unique about this challenge, I think, again, it's not only about us, I think everyone goes through this in their life, is there's different type of challenges, right? You can have a challenge, God forbid, with an illness or a physical, a person struggles to make a living and all that, right? That obviously has its own set of challenges and someone has to deal with that. Then there's another type of challenge where you're just trying to do good things. Meaning it's not about necessarily making money or being healthy or whatever it is. It's just, I'm just trying to do the right thing, and that seems to not work. And there's a certain, there's an analogy given in the Talmud about Sukkot, about Sukkot, when you sit in a sukkah and it starts raining. So according to Jewish law, you can leave the sukkah and go back into the house. But it says you shouldn't leave, happily. You should have an analogy like a servant brought to the king a cup of water and the king throws it back in your face, right? So it's almost like, I just want to do the right thing, but you're not letting me. So it's like, is it not the right thing? Is it? Am I not supposed to be doing this? I think that's something we struggled with a lot.
Yeah, no, it is. That is an aspect of this kind of challenge which is which is challenging. But I think that's the lesson. The lesson is not about us; it's about doing what Hashem wants. And I think sukkah is a good analogy. So do we not go back in the sukkah the next day? We do.
Yeah.
So lots of it. So sometimes Hashem wants something else from us that day or that week or that month.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, which we don't know. So we know what we're supposed to strive for, we're supposed to do. It's a little bit like the story of Pesach at the end of the story, where they're coming to the Red Sea and it's all blocked, right? In a way you can say the same thing. You say, look, they're trying to get to Mount Sinai. God took them out of Egypt and said, the goal is to come to Mount Sinai to take the Torah. And they're going, and then they can't go because the army is behind them, there's a sea, and there's nowhere to go. And the lesson there is that you just got to do what you got to do. There's a goal, and move towards the goal. And the Talmud actually tells us that there was a certain individual called Nachshon ben Aminadav who jumped into the sea. He said, God said, go, you go. There's a sea, you keep going.
Yeah.
It's not your problem. You need to do what you need to do. Sometimes the process is as important as the goal. You just have to work towards the goal. That's our job. And when he did that, the sea split, right? And why did God want us? Maybe sometimes he just wants us to show the commitment or whatever the case is, right? We don't know why. But I think that's the lesson. The lesson is, it's not that you're trying to do a good thing and what God doesn't want a good thing. He wants you a good thing. He might temporarily want to put an ocean there. And your job is just to keep going until the ocean splits.
Yeah.
I think that's a good analogy. I think it
is. Yeah.
And I think that's probably the way to handle it.
So now that the ocean split,
by
the way, I only say that half joking. There were tremendous miracles here,
amazing,
and we can get into another time exactly the whole story.
And that's amazing. You see, that's because when you're really committed, you see the hand of Hashem. You see unbelievable things happen along the way. And now you got to.
So now where are we going? What's the Mount Sinai?
Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai means more Jewish learning, more Jewish engagement. Watch the space. Don't watch the space. Become part of the space.
That's right.
And it's going to be amazing. We're just going to explode with more programs, and more teaching, more inspiration, more opportunities to learn. BINA is already a leading institution of spreading Torah knowledge and Jewish learning.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get stronger.
Absolutely. All right, everyone.
See you all.
We will be back here next week.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful week.